Hi friends, I hope everybody is doing great today. This month's topic is all about self-esteem and really believing in ourselves. So today I thought we'd talk about 5 brain hacks that can really help you start to build that belief in yourself. So I know sometimes we cringe when we talk about this because we think there's just not enough hours in the day. We're already so busy. We've got work, we've got family commitments, maybe you're volunteering, maybe you've got, already you're focusing on one area of your life, maybe your health, whatever that is. And where are you going to find time to do something else? It's just one more thing, right? But what if there really were enough hours in the day? What if it's actually our limiting beliefs that are dragging us down and stopping us from being able to move forward? You know, that would be a real bummer, right? Because the last thing then that we'd want to be doing is putting ourselves on the back burner. And yet that's what we tend to do, right? Last week we talked about how our self-image really determines our success in life. And so when we put ourselves on the back burner and we ignore our self-image, how we perceive ourselves, and we're actually ignoring our own success and potential, right? So I think we should start working on that today and finding some easy ways to sort of hack our lives to start to build more self-esteem, build more positive beliefs. But before we do that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Brooker. I am a relationship and stress coach. I help women who feel stuck in a challenging relationship, whether it's with a partner, a child, a coworker, friend, whatever that is, just to become more clear about what's keeping them stuck and how to work through whatever that is that's causing that stickiness, building up all that stress, so that we could bring in more calm and clarity and connection and just live our lives with feeling more at ease and more connected and having more fun, right? Who doesn't want that? So 5 ways to build our self-esteem. So tip number 1 is to use some affirmations. So you've probably heard positive affirmations, we should do this, it's a thing that works. And it can, and there's actually MRI evidence that suggests that there's different neural pathways in our brain that have to do with positive, positive valuation, positive sort of self-reflection, and that these are increased when people practice these self-affirmations. They can lead to positive actions. They can actually get us doing things that will move us forward in our life. So how can we use that? Well, we can write out some statements that kind of encourage ourselves and then actually make an effort to, read those statements. Sometimes we do the first part, we write the statements out, and then we just kind of shove them away and sort of forget about them. But it's important that we just have them in our face, that we're actually seeing them every day and reminding ourselves of these positive affirmations, whatever they are that you come up with for yourself. I am strong, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I deserve whatever, um, you know, so write them out, put them on a sticky note, stick them around your house. Um, you know, if if uh, if if that's something that is hard for you, put them in code. Use code words so nobody really knows what these stickies are about. It might be a fun little game, but they'll mean something to you, and that's the important thing. And you're reminding yourself of this positivity. Um, so the sort of the flip side of that is that sometimes we think about these positive affirmations and our bodies kind of go like, no, like, we can't do that, and I am not, and it's our subconscious mind that's sort of coming up, and all that little self-talk is starting to come up. And it's interesting because our brains, like our subconscious actually uses, I think, 95% of our brain to control, things like our breathing and our digestion and that sort of thing, making memories. And it also holds all of those programs that we've sort of adopted through our whole lives. They control the way we think, the way we feel, the way we act, the way that we react, the way that we um, sometimes respond, sometimes react instead. It's really builds up who we are, and it's all based on things that have happened to us in the past and how we've sort of interpreted and digested those in our brains, right? And those, they come back to haunt us sometimes. So, and that's where, we had a situation where something happened and we maybe didn't feel like we were worthy. And so when we try and say that affirmation, our brain goes right back to that time. It doesn't remember all the other times that we were. It just remembers those negative times, because those are the ones that could be harmful to us. So what can we do about this? Well, this is where emotional freedom techniques really excels. It helps us identify triggers. It helps us to calm that really fearful part of our brain and start to think more clearly, start to respond instead of react so that we have clarity and purpose in what we're doing. And just putting positive reminders around triggers, like really start celebrating your wins to build your confidence. We sort of tend to, especially as women, I think we downplay our good things that happen to us, good things that we do. Oh, that was just a one-off, or oh, but somebody else did it better. We tend to do that to ourselves, but we really should be celebrating those wins. It doesn't matter how little they are, and reminding ourselves and trying to refocus on those things to help start building up our confidence again. So, using affirmations and working with your subconscious, really identifying those triggers. So number 3 would be maybe to journal. So some people swear by it, some people don't really like it. I know I personally have a really hard time with journaling, and that just means that maybe that's not the right thing for me. Although, I know that I learn better and I retain better and I process better when I write things down, but I'm not good at journaling. And a lot of people are in that position where when you write things down, you process more easily. So if that's you, give it a try, just if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Write about things that you accomplished that day. Write about things that inspire you. Write about goals that you have. Write notes to your future self, because you know that you can then go back in that journal and read things that you've done and see progress and see change, and look at these little notes that you've written to yourself, and that could be fun, right? So the other thing is, number 4, really watching the talk that goes on in your head, that inner critic that's always telling us, those the opposite of what we want, right? You're not worthy, you're not beautiful, you're not, you don't deserve this, you whatever it is. And it would be great, if you could just say, hey, inner critic, go take a hike, I'm done with you. But that's just not the way it works, and it just is often there. So what do we do about that? Well, one of the things that we can do is just start really noticing that self-talk. And I'm not saying sit and dwell in it and let it overpower you. I'm just saying notice when that little voice comes up and says something to you, and you can even think of it as like a bubble of words, whatever it's saying, and just see yourself pinching that bubble and allowing those words to just float away and not harm you. You can substitute positive variations in there. So instead of saying something like, well, that went horribly wrong, that didn't work out the way I wanted to, maybe you're saying something like, wow, 5 years ago, me would never have tried something like that. And here I am, I'm so proud of myself. I at least tried that. I had the courage to do that. Look at the positive in whatever is going on for you. So, and learning to replace lies with truths, because a lot of times, something will happen and we, we focus on the negativity. We tell ourselves that we're not as good as whoever or whatever. And that's just not true. And for some reason, we tell ourselves that. So we need to really start focusing in on truths and the goodness that really is inside of us. Um, and the other thing, of course, that I love, I talk about all the time, is emotional freedom techniques. Really learning to identify your triggers. Where did they come from? How are they playing out in your life? And and how can you sort of release yourself? Get that emotional freedom from whatever those triggers are. Little changes, big differences. And finally, maybe you like to meditate. And sometimes, people are like, oh, meditation. But, it really, you don't have to do it for an hour. You can just do it for a few minutes. Anything is going to be better than nothing. And sometimes I find when I talk about meditation, people are like, oh my God, empty my mind. And I was the same way. How can I do that? Well, you know what? You can't do that because you're human and our minds just don't empty. That's not how it works. So it's all about just recognizing thoughts as they come through and noticing them and going, yeah, okay, I see you. Thank you, on your way. Maybe using that little bubble metaphor that we talked about earlier. Um, it's a great practice for real life because in real life, you want to really start noticing the things that are triggering you, the things that you're saying to yourself, the things that you would never in a million years say to somebody else, and yet you say to yourself. So that you can start treating yourself better and start turning those things around. So, and I think that meditation is really helpful. So, none of these things are going to change your life overnight, but it's the little changes that you make. And, you might not try them all, but you might try one. And just try and be consistent and try and incorporate those little changes into your life, and you will see a difference. I promise you. Before you know it, your confidence will rise. You'll start believing in yourself. You'll be ready to open the door to more productivity, more happiness, and more success in your life. So remember, you are awesome and amazing. And I have a little quote for you. You are what you believe yourself to be. So that whole self-belief piece is really, really important. I hope that was helpful for you. I hope you use some of those hacks. Let me know how it works out. Get your freebies down below and, come connect. Let's be friends on Facebook at Living in Yes. And, if you'd like to chat, come to my website, www.nancybrooker.ca, and let's book a clarity call together. Let's talk. Have a great day. Bye.